Hello, my name is Anna Sellheim, and I am a cartoonist based in Baltimore, Maryland. I received my MFA in comics from the Center for Cartoon Studies in 2016. This is where you can find me online. My work tends to be short-form comics, primarily narratives under 15 pages. I do both fiction and autobiographical work, and today I'll be discussing my relationship to making art, comics, and trauma response. Linda Berry talks about how all children create art as a form of play and use it as a way to process the world around them. This is a page from her book, What It Is, whose primary audience are people that have lost their sense of play and making art and want to regain that in their creative practice. I had an issue to the opposite extreme. I was isolated a lot as a child, both because of bullying and because I have brittle bone disease, also known as osteogenesis imperfecta. I broke one leg in kindergarten and the other in first grade. I had to stay in the nurse's office away from my peers while my legs healed. Also, during recess, I often hid in classrooms in order to avoid bullies. To pass the time, I would draw. Because of consistent trauma and isolation during these drawing periods, it turned into a trauma response and I drew obsessively. I still vomit out feelings in my sketchbooks. All of these are sketchbook pages from the last few years. And all of them are venting about medical issues in particular, which is why I chose them for this presentation. But while I still vent through my art, it is not the only art I create anymore. As I did, say, when I was in college, when my mental health was at its worst. Due to PTSD and my depressive rapid cycle bipolar disorder, I am generally a very angry person. Even with mood stabilizers, therapy, and the wonderful life I've been able to build for myself, my inner dialogue tends to be very angry. Until recently, when I had a bad day, whether it was caused by internal or external forces, my anger would hyperfixate on my standing in the comics and art community. I constantly felt slighted and like I was underappreciated for my comics and artwork. This is actually the opposite of true. I am probably more appreciated for my artwork and comics than most of my peers. I feel like I've gained so many wonderful things through comics. Many friends and my boyfriend. My curriculum vitae is nothing to sneeze at. I have letters, emails, screenshots, and have multiple conversations with people telling me how my work has touched them. But anytime I saw a peer, especially from my alma mater, get accolades in social media, I would be jealous and livid. While in recovery for my binge eating disorder, my therapist and I figured out that all of this stemmed from my inner childhood, where I actually was consistently looked down on by my peers and teachers. So it was recommended that I try inner child therapy. Inner child therapy is a form of therapy where you are kind to and comfort your hurt inner child, your past self, in a way that you, or I guess your past self, this stuff is weird, couldn't be comforted at the time. I found this exercise to be very stupid and embarrassing. While I was struggling with it, we explored my trauma more and searched for happy memories from my childhood. On Thanksgiving Day, a stressful time for people with eating disorders, I was asked to draw myself interacting with a 4-year-old version of me before all of the bullying and broken bones started. I drew this in less than 10 minutes. While I am a very fast artist, this came together so incredibly quickly, it scared me. I draw myself in an abstract style consistently because drawing myself realistically is literally the most boring thing in the world to draw. Even with this abstract avatar, talking to a young version of myself was too intense. It came up in therapy that one of the few childhood memories I had was playing the lead in a preschool production based on Eric Carle's The Grouchy Ladybug. While all of this was happening, I was selling a lot of stuff on reseller apps. I stumbled across a copy of The Grouchy Ladybug along with a stuffed animal included. I bought them on a whim and they were delivered to my job. I was shocked by how well the stuffed animal was made. Reading up on Eric Carle later, it turns out he felt all of his books were also part toy and also knew that the sense of play was incredibly important for children, so it makes sense that this stuffed animal was also well designed. Throughout the rest of the day, and this continued for months, I started talking to the stuffed animal frequently. I was kind to it, I comforted it, and told it repeatedly how wonderful my life was compared to when I was a child. This degree of separation was what I needed to complete inner child therapy and heal from my PTSD. Here is a bunch of things I bought for my inner child. And healing my inner child helped me appreciate the things art has brought me, as well as dismiss many negative feelings I have about being overlooked. It also helped me bring a sense of play back into my artistic practice, like these buttons I made, or this puzzle I designed, which are all available in my shop. I always tell my ladybug this in my verbal gratitude list. And again, here's where to find me online. Thank you.